Okie doke. So I often refer to the idea that boundaries are just about my behavior. They're not about anything else but my behavior. And there's a little caveat to this. So my behavior is something that I can have control over when I'm in a calm or ventral, according to polyvagal theory, state. When I am in fight, flight, or freeze, I don't have control over my behavior. A great example of this is if there's a hot stove, I put my hand on it, I pull it right away. This is something called the amygdala hijack. It is something that we evolved to have for the past 500 million years that just keeps us surviving in a physical planet while we have physical bodies. There is no controlling of this autonomic nervous system response that shuts off access to our frontal lobe and sends us straight to the motor um, control part of our brain to have a reaction without thinking of it. So, why is this important? A lot of people connect with the serenity prayer, which is God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And it can bring a lot of solace if you understand what it's saying, but it can also make you feel really a lot of confusion and shame if you don't. A lot of people think that having the courage to change the things I can means, and this is what I thought for like the first 5 years of knowing this prayer, was, oh, if I just get courageous enough, I could change anything. And if I can't change things that are important to me, it means I'm not being courageous enough. But it actually does not mean that at all. So, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Those things include any other people, places, and things outside of myself. So anything that's happening outside of my body is something that I cannot change. Um, and that also includes the things I cannot change are any like thinking, emotions, bodily reactions, behaviors that I have when I'm in a defense state. Okay. So if someone jumps out at me and I have decided that I'm never going to use curse words, and someone jumps out at me from behind a door and scares me, and I go, fuck, like I I I had no control over it. That's just an autonomic, like it's just cause and effect. Okay. So reactions or behaviors or thoughts that I have when I'm in a defense state are not actually something that I can change. I can make amends for them later. I can say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry that I cursed. I know I had said I wasn't going to curse, but I got scared and that happened and I didn't have control over it. Um, but yeah, those things while we're in a defense state, they cannot be changed. Also, like worried thoughts or intrusive thoughts, like I want to, hurt this person who really upset me, or like in visualizing like gruesome things that don't align with your values, or sexual things, or whatever. Feeling attracted to somebody, all of that stuff is also in the category of things we cannot change. Our thoughts, like I really appreciate how Byron Katie says it, that we are being thought. Um, those thoughts are just like a accumulation of culture, sort of like the general like collective consciousness that we're exposed to. It's related to, the socialization you received from your family and community. It's related to like things that you inherited ancestrally. It could be related to past life stuff or galactic stuff or parallel life stuff. It's also related to, programming that we receive from advertisements, etc. So thoughts are also in the category of things we cannot change. And then grant me the courage to change the things I can. So the things I can change are my attitude and my willingness and my behavior and my knowledge set when I'm in a ventral or like calm, connected state. So when I'm feeling safe, I can change my knowledge set. I can learn. When I'm feeling scared, I can't learn. When I'm feeling safe, I can I can do something that I'm uncomfortable with, but that I'm willing to do. So when I'm feeling safe, I might be able to, you know, for example, do something that's scary to me. Like today, I had a business thing that I had to work out with my LLC, and I was scared to do it, but I got on the phone and I took deep breaths and I took breaks and I, coached myself through it and encouraged myself. And I was willing to do that because it was worth it for me. And because I felt safe. Um, so the courage to change the things we can, that's just stuff that we, are our behavior and our attitude when we're in a safe place. And that's why they use the word courage, because you can do something on the edge of safety and danger when there's more safety than danger. And that's what courage is. It's like danger exists, but I have more safety than I have danger. When those two switch and there's more danger than safety, then we're just in fear. And you can't like override it. You can't, your autonomic nervous system just kicks in, and that's the amygdala hijack. So when I'm at that equilibrium level, like maybe there's as much safety as danger, or when there's more safety than danger, I can exercise courage. And courage is not something that we can force, kind of like surrender. It just is about the nervous system's like weighing of um, that uh, balance of safety and danger. And, through experience, you can affect that. So when you give the nervous system a lot of examples that something's not dangerous, it can shift that. So let's say like I'm learning how to ride a bike. At first, the danger seems a lot higher than the safety because I don't know how. But the more times I practice it, the nervous system has more information, and it might be like actually riding a bike's not dangerous at all anymore because you're adding more data to what the nervous system is comparing and contrasting that threat to. Okay. So what I cannot change, the accepting things I cannot change, that's other people, places, and things. That's my own thinking. That's my behavior and attitude when I'm scared. Things I can change is my attitude and behavior when I'm feeling safe. And then the wisdom to know the difference. So that wisdom is just this information. Okay. You don't have to do anything other than just have this information and just line it up. When you have a experience, you can just say like, oh, blah, 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 blah. So this is helpful because pretty much I'm willing to bet that 100% of the time, if you say, I should have been able to do A, B, or C because you wanted to have done a different behavior, um, that's not the case. We operate at max capacity. So at any given time, somebody is doing what they are able to do. This is another 12-step concept that we can't until we can. There are very, very few people walking around, and there are exceptions to this. But there are very, very, very few people walking around going, I could be really loving right now, but I'm going to choose not to be. Um, Personally, I believe that if someone is engaging in any form of violence, from very tiny to very extreme, they are in a trance or they are confused because our like ultimate state is unconditional love. So, uh, yes. So, how does that whole serenity prayer play into the boundaries conversation? It's a helpful way to think about like, what am I trying to do with a boundary? I'm trying to make some sort of change in my life. And what is the only thing that I can change? It's my behavior and my attitude while I'm feeling safe. So, if I'm ever trying to change someone else's behavior or I'm trying to change my own behavior while I'm feeling scared, then I can realize that's not a boundary, that's a request. And when a request goes to like a you have to, or I'm gonna like be mad at you or think there's something wrong with you, that's a demand, right? So if I say, like, I'm not allowed to curse no matter how scared I am, and I'm gonna, get put in timeout if I do, and then someone jumps out at me and I put myself in timeout, like that's a demand, that's a punishment. And you're trying to assert authority over someone else. A boundary is about your own self. So if I'm gonna ever set a boundary, I'm gonna say, like, when I feel safe, I am going to not curse. Okay. That's something that I have the capacity to have control over or to change. And then let's say if somebody else is cursing around me and I don't like it. Okay. Just for clarity, I don't know why I'm using that example because I don't care at all about cursing. Um, but it's a like low stakes, no trigger warning needed example. So if somebody else is cursing and I don't enjoy hearing cursing, I can make a request of them. Would you mind not cursing so much around me? And then they get to decide, sure, no problem. Or, sure, I'll do my best. Or, no, I will curse no matter what. And then I get to go, not, you're not respecting my boundary. I say, oh, it looks like you don't want to follow my request. That's your business. And then I get to decide, do I still want to hang out with you or not? I get to decide, like, am I going to set the boundary that I don't actually hang out with people who curse? So I could just tell them, like, oh, okay, no problem. Like, all the blessings in the world. I don't hang out with people who curse, so I'll see you later, right? Then it's just becomes like very easy because I have total control over that. And obviously, there are not the options for controlling or making changes when we are in a situation where we're being controlled by an authority that's more powerful than us. So let's say, um, I, want to set the boundary that, like, I eat 3 times a day and then I'm put into some sort of like jail type situation and they will only feed me once a day. Like, I can't change it in that situation. And so, in that kind of a situation where you can't control your own behavior because you don't feel safe, right? Then that falls into the accepting things I cannot change. When we're in when we're not feeling safe, we may not be able to set any boundaries for ourselves. And that's why a lot of people, that end up in unsafe, chronically unsafe conditions are not able to make changes in their life, even to get out of those unsafe situations, because it's very difficult to make any change. It's virtually impossible to make a change when you're in a place of danger, when you're not feeling safe. So there has to be like you have to tip the scales and have more safety than danger in order to make change, basically. Okay, lots of love.